Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt. Welcome back to Far Lands or Bust. This is episode 710 of the series. As we break out. We burst through. We shovel past. And other very exciting verbs of the last episode's hidey-hole. Clean out some of our inventory, grab Wolfie, and continue on. Continue west towards the far lands here in Minecraft Beta 173, as we've been doing for just about 700 episodes on YouTube, because we started our journey on episode 11 of what up until that point was just a normal standard Minecraft Let's Play in the era of 2011. Decided, hey, you know what would make this game more interesting? Just walking in one direction, not building anything, not learning how the rest of the game world functions. Just walking. Also boating, but you need boats for that, so let me make a couple boats. But yeah, not quite yet, but the next episode, episode 711, sponsor! No, not really. Episode 711 will be technically 700 episodes of walking to the far lands. Not counting, of course, the little detours we've taken, and also the live stream flobathons we've done add up. But yeah, today anyway, on Tuesday, October 9th, is episode 710. Careful, Wolfie. I knew it! Careful, Wolfie, indeed. And one of the things that's also kept up for such a long duration is raising money for charity. We're raising money for Direct Relief Charity this year at farlandsorbust.com. Up to... Oh, no! Hold on, I didn't update the number. What a rube! It's taken me 700 episodes to figure out how to do this. Un momento. Memento over. We are at $18,232.81. Conveniently, a palindrome. 18238281. Backwards and forwards, the same number. So yeah, thank you everybody who continues to donate, and everybody who, one particular person, who continues to bring that number into palindrome station. Station? Sure, it's a train station of palindromes. Why not? All the trains are exactly the same front to back. It's very confusing trying to find your seat when there's two of them. But yeah, thank you everybody who continues to donate to Direct Relief through farlandsorbust.com. Much appreciated. Wolfie does too. And so can you. So yeah, I do appreciate it. Woof. I need some wood here. Let's plant some trees while we're at it. Just realizing resources are needed to continue and carry onwards on this journey. Needed and obtained and continuing on. You know what's not continuing on? Segue. Google Plus. Google Plus has died. Long live Google Plus. Google Plus has been shut down, not because it was a horrible failure of a social media website, but because of a data breach cover-up. Not only of a data breach, and then the cover-up of said data breach. There was an article that found that there was a data breach of... Was it 50,000 or 5 million? 50,000. Let's call it 50,000 accounts due to a vulnerability in the developer API that allowed account information to be scraped from areas that should have been deemed private on Google+. And then Google knew about it, but didn't announce it because they didn't want further scrutiny and regulation placed upon them for having a breach. Now that it's been found out and the cover-up has been found out, they just decided to throw out the baby with the bathwater. If by baby you mean a completely useless platform, then yes, that's what happened, and Google Plus has been shut down. I don't know what that means for YouTube, because one of the many things that ruined YouTube was the forced Google Plus integration that yours truly... Wolfie? Oh, there you go. I thought maybe I accidentally buried him in that sand back there. That yours truly, me, was able to avoid signing up for Google Plus for like a good 3-4 years before it was forced upon me. But yeah, everybody with a YouTube account suddenly had this magical new Google Plus account attached to it. It was going to fix YouTube and fix the comments. It did quite the opposite of that, and then everybody left YouTube and Google Plus. So, yeah, I don't know. There's still integration, because I do remember definitely trying to do something on YouTube and then getting a pop-up. Oh, you have to do that through your Google Plus account. And I'm like, no, I will not be doing such a thing. But yeah, now I guess Google Plus is just shut down. It's been a couple years since the lead project manager of Google Plus left Google, and we started to see the removal of Google Plus from Google services. But it's never been very specific that the YouTube integration has been successfully unintegrated. So I'm looking forward to a lot of things being broken on YouTube, more than usual. But yeah, that was an interesting story amongst all the other news and things going on to have found out this morning. Yeah, I've gone on rants about this in the past, about how Google was really keen on getting their own social media platform going to compete with Twitter and Facebook. Little did they realize that they already had an incredibly successful and easily monetizable social media platform that they'd bought years previous called YouTube. But instead of improving and capitalizing on that, they just decided to strip the social media qualities of YouTube out and shoehorn in this Google Plus monstrosity. And that is the last we heard of the spooky noises of Google Plus. That was some good timing. So yeah, that was man. Yeah. Anyway, it's too late. All is lost. we can ponder and posture and postulate no longer about the Google Plus. That's weird. Just everybody stop using the internet. It's time to just stop. It's gone on. This has gone on long enough and hurt too many things. Burn it down. I'm gonna go live in the woods, be a forest fighter. Forest fighter? I'm gonna fight the forests. Take that, you dang tree! Making oxygen and all that stuff that helps us live. How dare you? Forest firefighter. That's the word I was looking for. There's a lot of F words right there. I can only handle so many F words at once. Speaking of F words, no, I'm kidding. Let's see. Special Breh, with a donation to Direct Relief, asked a question here. We've heard you mention of the hidey-hole paradox a few times, more than a few, but I, for one, am ignorant of the specifics. Specifics! Can you get into some detail, please? Well, this is part of Far Lands or Bust lore. Much like the golden apples, the music disc, which we found a little bit ago, not really, going to the nether, the diamond sword of spawn pointiness, Wolfie drowning underneath my boat, all part of the Far Lands or Bust lore. So I will bring you up to speed on what the hidey-hole paradox is all about. A pretty significant piece of Far Lands or Bust history. After we take a sleep here in the elevated hidey-hole. In the morning. And awakeness. And awakeness indeed. So yes, the hidey-hole paradox. There is a Far Lands or Bust flashback, which they themselves, the series Far Lands or Bust flashback, is in and of itself a flashback, since there hasn't been a new one in well over 2 years. But there's a Far Lands or Bust flashback about the hidey-hole paradox, which will show you the first hidey-hole paradox. Essentially what happened. I make backups of this Far Lands or Bust world after every episode, just in case something awry were to happen, and it's happened a few times, such as my power going out, ruining the recording, accidentally forgetting to turn on my microphone, accidentally forgetting to hit record even. That's happened before too. Or actual in-game glitches or crashes or whatever. Or in this case, whatever, I don't remember the specific episode number, but it was early. It was early in Far Lands or Bust, in before episode 100, in the 2-digit times. I think I was sick at the time was the deal. I was sick, but I wanted to record an episode of Far Lands or Bust, but it didn't go well because I was sick and I hated it. Maybe my microphone didn't pick up the right nasal voices or something happened. But I decided, you know what, this was a bad episode. This was, back in the day when we were trying to gain YouTube subscriptions and viewers and make good content. Remember that? When we tried to make good content. So I decided to scrap the recording. And because I had backed up this world, I could just load the backup and start over from where the last episode began, and I would delete the footage, and you'd be none the wiser. So I did that and waited until I was better. I think I got over that cold or whatever it was, so I had a better voice and was kind of more awake while recording the episode, and did that. But in my head, I realized, I've already recorded this episode, so I've already seen the terrain ahead of me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to purposefully, but not tell anybody, I'm going to purposefully kind of try to walk a different direction, just so whatever I see in the upcoming 3 days of walking west is new terrain and new stuff to be kind of, to actually see it new for the first time, so I don't have to feign excitement or interest in what I'm seeing. So I did that. However, at the end of the episode, I go to make the end of the episode hidey-hole. I see a dog sitting, a tamed dog sitting. And I see a torch and what appears to be the door to one of my end of the episode hidey-holes. And I'm very confused. In the back of my head, I know that I recorded an episode before, but I replaced the save file with my old save file. This shouldn't be here. And there, my friends, is the paradox of the hidey-hole paradox. What had happened was, basically, I played it off. I decided, you know what? I recorded this episode twice. I don't want to do it a third time. Clearly, this is a technical mistake I've made. So I decided to play it off and be like, what's this about? Spooky noises and whatnot. And that got everybody up into a huff and a tizzy, and a hype machine was rolling. Because it was also around the time that the Yogscasts were getting very popular with their scripted Minecraft adventure series. So suddenly everybody thought Far Lands or Bust was going to turn into a scripted event with these weird spooky behaviors. Other Farlanders in the world, perhaps I'd switch it to a multiplayer world. And you would have to wait for the next episode to find out. But what had happened was, and I explained it all in the next episode. I didn't keep up the charade for much longer. When I had restored the backup world, I didn't delete the world from the live, I guess, world save. And in doing so, yes, I rewrote the player file and all the previous, save files so that I spawned at my original hidey-hole, but it kept all the updated chunks from the failed recording, including my final hidey-hole. I just happened to somehow, even though I purposefully tried to avoid walking the same way I did previously, at the end of 3 days, I missed all the elevated hidey-holes that must have still been there. But at the end of the episode, I ended up in the exact spot that I had ended the previous attempt recording, and there was a duplicate Wolfie and the hidey-hole that I had just used with the failed recording. So that is the hidey-hole paradox origin story. Now, because we realize these vast magical powers are within us, during the third Flobathon, at the end of it, there was a game glitch that made Wolfie disappear. Wolfie didn't die, or anything like that. We saved the game, we exited, I went on break, came back, Wolfie was gone. We couldn't bring Wolfie back. So what I could do, in my powers as a Time Lord with Iron Pants, is I invoked the hidey-hole paradox on purpose. I loaded the last save that I had from the Flobathon that I knew Wolfie was fine and existed, but that also meant I went back in time 2 or 3 hours, but I didn't delete the new data in the save file, meaning I left all the other elevated hidey-holes, and I left the end of season F3 monument at 626926, I believe it was, or something like that. And I said, I'm going to go back, and this is going to bring back Wolfie, but my goal is to then find my way back to, without using F3, find my way back to the end of the season F3 monument. So there we invoked the hidey-hole paradox on purpose, and it worked. Wolfie was fine, waiting for us in the future past. And then we walked back, and I had to do a little bit of searching, but we found the F3 monument again, and then we're able to continue on with Wolfie. With Wolfie. And here we are, and that's the last time we've actually invoked the hidey-hole paradox. So yeah, it's a neat thing, just kind of an accident that happened, really, and we're continuing on with that as part of the lore of the hidey-hole paradox. So whenever we say about like, ooh, going back in time or changing something in the past, it's always good to make a joke about invoking a hidey-hole paradox or something like that, where we go back in time, but we haven't, in doing so, it only creates a secondary timeline and doesn't affect the future timeline. It's kind of the way it works, I guess. Drama, storylines, and whatnot in this Far Lands or Bust series. So yeah, that's what the hidey-hole paradox is. Do you want to know what the jitter is? I don't think anybody wants to know why it jitters so much or lags so much like it does. I don't know when it should be happening soon-ish, when the jitter doubles. That's gonna be crazy, because it happens in the 4 millions, I think, and we're in the early 3 millions at the beginning of the season. So who knows? That'll be fun to test. The floating point rollover remainder. We don't have a specific name for that other than the floating point border. Indeed. Bloink. Continuing on. Frederick has a question with their donation. Frederick asks, is there a way to subscribe to your Flob videos without subscribing to all of your other videos? Excuse me, this is a package deal. You saying you don't like all my other videos? My daily hours of content of No Man's Sky streams and Rise or Shadow of the Tomb Raider, excuse me, and Formula 1 2018 with Cone Dodger and Vintage Beef? What exactly are you trying to suggest? There used to be, because there used to be a Far Lands or Bust show. There used to be the shows feature on YouTube, but they also took that away. Actually, they didn't. It still exists, but it's broken. And I think it's just one of those things that YouTube forgot they left there. I think you might be able to follow the playlist. There is a playlist. If you go to my YouTube page, channel, click on a few videos, watch a few extra videos, and then if you go to the playlists tab or even just scroll down, there's a collection of Far Lands or Bust, the complete journey to the Far Lands, or for charity, I think is what it's called, or something like that. And it has, whoops, I fell. It has all the seasons, including this one, of Far Lands or Bust. There was a bug, speaking of things that are breaking in YouTube, there was a bug recently that might persist. It seems like it's fixed, that isn't automatically putting episodes into their appropriate playlists. I'll have to check that, but I think there might be a way for you to subscribe or enable notifications to a specific playlist. Or you can subscribe to the podcast, or you can follow me on Twitter, or you can just visit the farlandsorbust.com website. Always lists the most recent episode. Or you can go to sleep. And awakeness. Blink. And continuing on. A lot of seafaring in this episode. Frederick also asks, if I want to get into the streaming content creation... Oh, those are two separate phrases. If I want to get into the streaming, comma, or content creation business, would you recommend YouTube or Twitch? No. Don't. I would... Here we go. Here we go. Everybody buckle up. I had this question asked to me at Minecon Earth a year ago. The first Minecon Earth, when I was there and we were doing panels or whatever. Somebody who was very young, by the way, like, I think you need to be 13 years old to have a YouTube channel or a Twitter account or any of these things for legal reasons. And this individual was not 13, I tell you what. But they asked what to do to become popular or grow your YouTube channel or your video channel or whatever, or how to have our jobs when they grow up. And I would say don't try to be a YouTuber or a Twitch streamer. Careful with that. When I was a young lad, say in school, 13, in college even, heck, these platforms didn't exist. This job didn't exist. The internet didn't exist as it currently does. Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, even the ability to capture video games reliably, it wasn't even an idea in anybody's head. So I feel like in, say, 10 years or whenever you're looking to turn this into a career, this might still exist, but there might be, and probably will be, something completely different that simply isn't on any of our radars. So I would say instead, sure, if this is the sort of work you think you could enjoy, yeah, practice and learn the skills, learn about video editing, learn about graphic design, learn about how video games are made, sound design, marketing even, all these sorts of things, broadcasting, technology, building computers, routing wires and whatnot, networking. learn about all the basic disciplines, I suppose you could say, surrounding with this, but maybe use that to find the next big thing, or create the next big thing. You know, the people who made YouTube, the people who made Facebook, heck, Notch, who made Minecraft, which, I mean, you don't want to be Notch, because he's Notch. Nobody wants to be Notch. Are all my age. I'm not saying clearly I didn't. I'm not saying I was capable of being the ones to create these things, but it was all happening in my generation. So perhaps if you're lucky and clever and you have a group of diverse people around you enough to kind of inform you and push you in the right directions, you can be the person who creates. If not creates, then is at the forefront of the next thing that there is. And yeah, just have fun now. If you want to stream on Twitch, go for it. If you want to make YouTube videos, yeah, but don't do so thinking you're going to be the next Captain Sparkles, because there already is a Captain Sparkles, and he's honestly not the Captain Sparkles anymore. So it's I think it's you're living in the past, man, if you're thinking of trying to make a career out of YouTube, Twitch, streaming, video game broadcasting, whatever. So yeah, like, I don't even know. Nobody knows. Google doesn't know what the next big thing is. If they did, they'd have bought them and ruined it already. So, that's the advice I would give. That's the advice I would give. Don't try to do what's already been done and is already in the past. It's super saturated now. It's super difficult and upside down, and even myself, I'm wishing I had taken more advantage of it and been more gung-ho when it was hot. I don't make... If I was just doing YouTube, I would have to have a normal job. Heck, I don't know how much longer I might have to have a normal job. Does anybody work at Whole Foods? Is that all right to work there? Oh, they're owned by Amazon. Damn! No, where... So that Forest Preserve firefighter job, when do those positions open up? What sort of resume elements do I need for that? Photoshop? Web design? HTML? CSS? Does that help? Oh, boy. But yeah, if you just want to do it now for fun, yeah, get yourself an installation of OBS and have a computer that can record and edit and upload and, you know, just have fun or whatever, but don't quit your job if you have one, or don't stop believing. Don't stop, learning your current major or focus of study or whatever. That's probably not the way to go, because it's crazy that this, you asked 12, 13, 14-year-old me what I wanted to be. Oh, it was all stuff that already existed. A pilot, a race car driver, an author, an artist, a graphic designer, an advertising design. There's no reason I would have ever thought I'm going to play video games and have fans and sign autographs and do panels at conventions and live stream video games live with my face in the corner of the video game, making jokes and getting subs and bits and running advertisements and doing bounties. None of these things were even remotely a thought. I mean, maybe people had the idea, oh, that'd be cool, and people... It was around when I started to graduate college is when, Red vs. Blue and, some of the Machinima series started picking up. But when did YouTube start? Didn't YouTube launch in 2006? Or was that when they were bought by Google? Yeah, I feel like YouTube wasn't even a thing while I was in college. Facebook had just started because I remember the only reason I could sign up for Facebook was because they were only available in colleges for college students. And boy, was that a mistake. Uh, so yeah, don't put all your eggs in a basket that isn't even there anymore, I guess. Nonsensical analogies. That's the Kurt J. Mac way. TDW fan asks, Kurt, how do you feel about some Far Lands haikus? Refrigerator. It's funny because that was a Far Lands haiku. Thanks, TDW fan, for the direct relief donation and the poetry. Similarly to the previous question, an anonymous donor asked, when you first started to upload videos, what did you expect out of it? How have your intentions, motivations changed since? I think literally everything I just said kind of answers that. And when I started, like I said, was about the time the Yogs cast. There were some people who were big, who were starting to make... It seemed like make money from YouTube. And I didn't have the concept that maybe they quit their jobs to do this full time. I started doing it in March and I didn't even know about or sign up for the partner program until July, when I actually started doing the Far Lands for charity in June and noticed kind of the explosion of popularity. So I was just doing it because I thought it would be cool. And I thought it would be a nice release as somebody who has always been told that, well, you'd have a good radio voice. And I always enjoyed watching other people's Let's Plays. And one of the other things I brought up very early on in the Far Lands or Bust series is that I'm very shy and introverted, and I thought maybe it would help me practice talking and come out of my shell a bit. And certainly very many things have happened in the past 7 years that wouldn't have happened had it not been for this. A lot good, some bad, maybe, or maybe they're good. I don't know. Time has yet to pan out on some decisions and some things that have happened over the last decade or so. But yeah, how have my motivations changed? It's certainly changed a bit since I'm not Captain Sparkles. I do still feel like I have to kind of chase after, not success, popularity, but sustainability, I guess, is what I'm chasing after, which is a challenge, and one that everybody, I think, has to deal with unless they're extremely fortunate. And yeah, so it's constantly evolving, but I think this is a good spot as any. Bloink. Speaking of hidey-hole paradoxes, wouldn't it be crazy if we found a hidey-hole right here? No, I'm kidding. Wouldn't that be great, though? If I could have finagled that. I'm not that smart, though, clearly. But yeah, you know what would make you smart? Is if you donate to Direct Relief at farlandsorbust.com, getting us closer to our $50,000 goal for the season. When we do raise $50,000, we will hold another one of those live stream flobathons where anything could happen. Even a Wolfie going missing, or a hidey-hole paradox, or a broken frozen game save that we have to restore to a previous version. It's crazy stuff that happens during flobathons, including pressing F3 at the end when we find out how far we've walked and perhaps how much closer we would be to reaching the next wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey floating point rollover situation. It might even happen during a flobathon. That's never happened. It kind of has happened. During the first flobathon is when we realized it was happening at all. We noticed that the jitteriness was increasing even at 200,000 blocks. The jitteriness was increasing, and we noticed that the actual... Whoops. The actual block selection was slightly, just ever so slightly off. Now it is completely obviously way off. So, and of course, you're helping out Direct Relief Charity, which is a great cause to support. Much appreciated, my friends and Farlanders. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time. Remember that when we try to make good content.